Let's dive right into this explainer because there is a completely fascinating, deeply personal mystery hiding right inside your own body. Seriously. Today, we're exploring something that completely blurs the line between what is human and what is, well, something else entirely. It's a biological detective story, and I promise you, it's going to completely change how you view your own genetic makeup.
So just picture your totally ordinary morning routine. You wake up, brush your teeth, scroll through your phone. You look in the mirror and you probably feel completely, entirely alone in your own skin, right? Like it's just you in there. But you're not alone, not even close. There's actually something ancient lying entirely still inside you right now. And I don't mean that as a memory or some kind of poetic metaphor. We are talking about an actual virus, literally lying frozen, mid-motion, right in your genetic code, waiting for absolutely nothing because it can never actually finish what it started. So, are you really alone? Well, to answer that, we actually need to zoom in on a very familiar, super intimate scene. Imagine a 2-year-old child with a climbing fever. You know the drill. Their skin is hot to the touch. Parents are frantically pacing the hallway outside the room, checking the thermometer every 5 minutes. It's a stressful scene, but it's one that's played out for literally as long as fevers have existed.
That familiar fever? It's most likely caused by rosola, and the virus behind it is called HHV6, or human herpes virus 6. This thing is one of the absolute most universally common childhood infections on Earth. I mean, it's been quietly infecting toddlers for so long and so universally that you yourself almost certainly had it. And just like everybody else, you completely forgot all about it by the time you turned 2.
Now take a look at the stark contrast here. On the left side, you've got what normally happens. A virus infects you, your immune system kicks into gear, fights it off, and the virus retreats to hide. It's kind of like a spark in dry wood. Never fully out, but never quite lit, right? But check out the right side. This is the anomaly. In about 1 out of every 100 people, the virus didn't just hide in the body. No, instead, a viral splinter permanently stitched itself directly into the tightly coiled thread of their actual DNA. It's mind-blowing.
Because think about it. Once that virus stitches itself into that chromosomal thread, it becomes something else entirely. It transforms into a genetic inheritance. It's no longer an infection that you just catch from someone coughing on you. It's a biological fossil, a fossil running in the steady pulse of a grandmother 1,000 years ago and her grandmother before her, stretching way further back than any family tree could ever record.
But, okay, to figure out exactly how far back this bizarre genetic inheritance actually goes, scientists realized pretty quickly they couldn't just look at modern people. They had to skip modern medical records entirely. They had to look deep into the past, tracing the timeline back hundreds and eventually thousands of years.
Just imagine being in a cold, quiet research lab in Vienna. Overhead lights are humming, and researchers are meticulously examining trays of ancient human skeletons. You see skin decays, and memories totally fade, but teeth? Teeth survive. So these researchers extract fragments of preserved DNA right from the roots of ancient teeth. These are basically tiny sealed time capsules, perfectly untouched by time. And inside those capsules, they are hunting for invisible viral passengers that rode along inside our species for millennia, present in every single cell of a body that never even knew they were there. And looking closely at these ancient samples reveals an absolutely incredible hinge point in biological history. Look at these 2 related versions of the virus. HHV6b. It can still insert itself into healthy human chromosomes today, just quietly riding along without causing any symptoms. But its cousin, HHV6a, it mysteriously lost this tool. Early in its history, buried deep in the past, a tool this virus once relied on just stopped working.
I mean, I really want you to just sit with that for a second. A virus actually tried to become a permanent piece of the human species. And partway through that history, just through time, mutation, and pure chance, its ability to finish the job quietly broke. This wasn't some epic battle that humans won with medicine or some super immunity. No, it was just an evolutionary stroke of luck. It changed the fate of the virus and the fate of your ancestors at the exact same moment, without a single person ever knowing it happened.
And get this, HHV6 isn't even our only stowaway. Other researchers found that when modern humans migrated outward from Africa tens of thousands of years ago, they met and interbred with Denisovans on ancient coastlines. Denisovans are this mysterious, now extinct relative of ours. And that genetic legacy? It didn't just vanish. Fragments of Denisovan DNA remain highly active in populations across the Pacific today. They are still actively working in real time, literally deciding what counts as a threat in their immune systems right now. It just goes to show you are not a closed book, you're an ongoing edit.
Zooming out even further, scientists made a totally shocking discovery about an entirely different category of ancient invader. For the longest time, researchers just dismissed large parts of our genome as junk DNA, meaningless leftover evolutionary static. But when they finally looked closer, they found deeply ancient viral DNA buried inside that static. We're talking about remnants of infections so unbelievably old they predate written history by a margin we can barely comprehend. And remarkably, some of it is still doing active work inside your cells today. So you can picture your DNA exactly like layers of sediment in a massive canyon wall. Right at the top, in the more recent layers, you've got the inherited HHV6 viral code. Beneath that sits the middle layer of Denisovan genetic ancestry. And way at the very bottom, deeper and older than either of those, is a layer of incredibly ancient viral remnants. It absolutely proves that nothing in that canyon wall of our genome was ever just empty space. Every single layer had a job, or honestly, still does.
Stepping back into your present day, I want you to consider this number: 1. Just 1. If you go take a standard genetic test today, just out of curiosity, you might actually discover that you belong to the roughly 1% of the population carrying this strange stretch of inherited HHV6 DNA. Like you could literally receive a note in your report pointing out a stretch of your own DNA that isn't fully yours. At least, not in the way you originally thought.
So, the absolutely crucial point here requires a massive reframe. Look, it is totally natural to feel some unease when you hear the word virus in relation to your own body, for sure. But this isn't a threat sitting inside you, just waiting to strike. Not at all. It is a biological message. It literally proves that you are descended from an infection, that your ancient ancestors survived so completely and so thoroughly that it actually stopped being an enemy and became a permanent part of who you are.
This realization so beautifully changes what the word you actually means. Carrying this ancient code, it doesn't make you less human. It makes you far more layered. You are essentially a living archive. You hold biological inheritance, written by things that were never human at all, folded right next to the exact genes that determine your eye color, your blood type, and the exact shape of your smile. How cool is that?
So, the next time you feel a passing fever coming on, or you catch a little sickness that fades in a week, remember the quiet, careful work being done comparing old bones to new blood in labs right now. Remember that across thousands of years, sometimes an infection didn't just move on, it actually became one of us. Look in the mirror at your totally ordinary day and ask yourself this one final, incredible question. What else is written inside you?